There's a moment every divorced mom dreads. The moment your ex says, "I want you to meet someone." The moment your child mentions a name you don't recognize. The moment you realize another woman is going to be in your child's life and you have absolutely no control over it. Your heart races. Your stomach drops. 1,000 questions flood your mind. What is she like? Will my kids like her more than me? Is she going to try to replace me? Will she undermine my parenting? What if she's terrible? What if she's perfect? And beneath all those questions is one feeling you don't want to admit: fear. Today, we're talking about one of the hardest parts of co-parenting that nobody prepares you for: your ex's new partner. Whether she just entered the picture or she's been around for years, whether you're struggling with jealousy or you genuinely want peace, this conversation is for you. Because here's the truth: how you handle this relationship will directly impact your children's emotional well-being, your own peace of mind, and the entire dynamic of your co-parenting situation. We're going to talk about the jealousy, the boundaries, the communication strategies, and how some women have actually built friendly, respectful relationships with the woman dating their ex-husband. This is your masterclass in handling the new person with grace. Not because she deserves it, not because it's easy, but because you and your children deserve peace. Let's do this. The initial shock. Let's start with the moment that knocks the wind out of you. Natalie found out her ex was dating someone new when her 7-year-old came home from a weekend visit and said, "Dad's friend Sarah made us pancakes. She's really nice and she has a dog." Natalie smiled at her daughter and said all the right things. Then she went to her bedroom and cried for 2 hours. It didn't matter that she'd been the one to file for divorce. It didn't matter that she knew this day would come eventually. It didn't matter that she was dating someone too. The reality of another woman in her children's life hit her like a freight train. She felt replaced, jealous, territorial, scared, and then guilty for feeling all of those things. If this is where you are right now, hear this: your feelings are valid. All of them. Even the ugly ones. Even the irrational ones. You're not a bad person for feeling threatened by this woman. You're human. You spent years building a life with this man. You created children together. And now someone else is stepping into a version of that life, and your kids are going to form a relationship with her that you can't control. That's terrifying. And it's okay to admit that. What matters is what you do with those feelings, whether you let them control you or whether you process them and choose a different path forward. Because here's what every woman who's navigated this successfully will tell you: your initial feelings don't have to dictate your long-term response. You can feel jealous and still act with grace. You can feel threatened and still build boundaries. You can grieve and still choose peace. The first step is acknowledging the feelings without judgment. The second step is deciding who you want to be in this situation. Maya's story, the transformation. Maya hated her ex-husband's girlfriend for an entire year. She'd never met her, didn't know anything about her beyond her first name and the fact that she existed. But she hated her with a passion that surprised even herself. Every time her kids mentioned her, Maya's jaw clenched. Every time she had to drop the kids off knowing that woman would be there, Maya felt physically sick. She found herself stalking her social media, comparing herself, imagining worst-case scenarios. She knew it was unhealthy, she knew it was consuming her, but she couldn't stop. Her therapist finally asked her a question that changed everything. "What are you really afraid of?" And Maya broke down. "I'm afraid my kids will love her more than me. I'm afraid she'll be a better mom than I am. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose them." Her therapist looked at her gently and said, "Maya, you're not losing your children by allowing them to have another adult who cares about them. You're giving them more love. That's not a threat. That's a gift." That perspective shift took time to internalize, but slowly, Maya started to reframe everything. Instead of seeing this woman as competition, she started seeing her as someone who could potentially help care for her children when they were with her dad. Instead of fearing being replaced, she reminded herself that no one could replace a mother. Instead of focusing on what she might lose, she focused on what her children might gain. The turning point came when her daughter fell and needed stitches during her dad's weekend. Her girlfriend took her daughter to the emergency room, held her hand, and called Maya immediately to update her every step of the way. Maya realized this woman wasn't trying to replace her. She was trying to care for a child she was coming to love. And that wasn't a threat. That was actually what Maya wanted for her kids when they weren't with her. Someone who genuinely cared. Maya reached out with a text. "Thank you for taking care of Emma today. It means a lot knowing she has someone who cares about her when I can't be there." That simple text opened a door. They started communicating directly about the kids, nothing deep, just logistics and updates. And slowly, over months, mutual respect developed. 3 years later, Maya and her ex's now wife coordinate birthday parties together. They text about the kids' needs. They've even had coffee a few times to discuss parenting approaches and make sure they're on the same page. Maya told us she never thought this would be possible, but it happened because she chose it. She chose to see this woman as a potential ally instead of an enemy. She chose her children's well-being over her own ego. She chose peace over bitterness. And it changed everything. Now, here's the reality. Not every situation will become friendly. Some will remain civil at best. And that's okay. The goal isn't friendship. The goal is functional co-parenting that prioritizes your children. But whether you're aiming for friendly or just civil, boundaries are essential. Lisa learned this the hard way. Her ex's girlfriend started texting her constantly, sending photos of the kids, asking parenting questions, sharing details about their household. At first, Lisa appreciated it, but it quickly became overwhelming and intrusive. The girlfriend started offering unsolicited parenting advice, suggesting changes to bedtime routines, mentioning that the kids said they didn't like certain rules at Lisa's house. It crossed from helpful to undermining. Lisa realized she needed to set clear boundaries. So she did. She sent a kind but firm message. "I appreciate your care for my children. Moving forward, I'd prefer that logistics and parenting discussions go through their dad. If there's an emergency when you're the only adult present, of course reach out directly. Otherwise, let's keep our communication to friendly but minimal." The girlfriend was initially hurt, but Lisa held the boundary. And eventually, it settled into a healthy dynamic where everyone knew their role. Here are the boundaries women have found helpful. Major parenting decisions go through the parents, not the new partner. The girlfriend or wife can have input with your ex privately, but big decisions should be discussed between you and your ex directly. Emergency communication is different from daily communication. If there's a genuine emergency and she's the adult present, she should absolutely contact you. But daily updates, photos, and casual conversations should be optional, not expected. Discipline and house rules stay in each household. You don't get to dictate what happens in her home, and she doesn't get to dictate what happens in your home. Consistency is ideal, but ultimately, each household has autonomy. She's not mom or mommy. This boundary matters to most mothers. She can be a parental figure, a caring adult, someone the kids love, but that title is yours. And most respectful partners understand and honor that. Your relationship with your ex is separate. She shouldn't be mediating conversations between you and your ex, relaying messages, or inserting herself into co-parenting conflicts that don't involve her. These boundaries aren't about being controlling. They're about creating clear roles that reduce confusion and conflict for everyone, especially the children.
Nicole's story, the difficult one. Not every story has a happy ending, and that's important to acknowledge. Nicole tried everything. She reached out with kindness, she set clear boundaries, she bent over backward to be gracious and welcoming for her kids' sake. But her ex's girlfriend was hostile from day one. She talked badly about Nicole in front of the kids. She tried to replace Nicole at school events and extracurriculars. She referred to the children as ours and posted about being their real mom on social media. She actively tried to turn the kids against Nicole. Nicole was devastated. She'd done everything right, and this woman seemed determined to make her life hell. Her therapist helped her realize something crucial. You can control your behavior, but you can't control someone else's. You can extend grace, but you can't force someone to receive it. So Nicole shifted strategies. She couldn't build a relationship with this woman, but she could protect her relationship with her children. She stopped trying to engage with the girlfriend entirely. All communication went through her ex, documented in writing. She stopped reacting to the provocations. She focused on being steady, loving, and present with her kids. When her children mentioned things the girlfriend said about her, Nicole didn't trash talk back. She said, "That must be confusing to hear different things from different adults. Here's what I want you to know. I love you completely. Nothing anyone says changes that. And you never have to choose between the people who love you." She taught her kids media literacy so they could think critically about the social media posts. She reinforced that her love wasn't dependent on their loyalty. She made her home a safe place where they could process their complicated feelings. It wasn't easy. There were court battles over the girlfriend's overreach. There were heartbreaking moments when her kids repeated hurtful things they'd heard. There were nights Nicole cried herself to sleep, feeling helpless. But she stayed steady, she stayed kind, she stayed present. And eventually, as her kids got older, they saw the truth for themselves. Her teenage son told her recently, "Mom, I always knew you were the stable one. Even when I was little and didn't understand everything, I knew you were safe." Nicole learned that sometimes grace doesn't mean building a relationship. Sometimes grace means protecting yourself and your children while refusing to stoop to someone else's level. You can't control a difficult person, but you can control who you are in the face of their difficulty. And that matters more than you know. Communication strategies that work. Whether you're dealing with someone amazing, someone neutral, or someone difficult, these communication strategies will serve you. Start with the assumption of good intent. Most new partners aren't trying to replace you or hurt you. They're trying to navigate an impossible situation too. Leading with suspicion creates conflict. Leading with the assumption that everyone wants what's best for the kids creates space for cooperation. Communicate directly when possible. If you can build a functional relationship with her, direct communication about logistics can be incredibly helpful. But if that's not possible or comfortable, route everything through your ex. Both approaches are valid. Use I statements and stay child-focused. Instead of "you're overstepping," try "I feel more comfortable when major parenting decisions go through the kid's dad and me first." Keep everything anchored to what's best for the children, not about territory or ego. Acknowledge her role without diminishing yours. You can say, "I'm glad my kids have another adult who cares about them," without it meaning she's their mother. There's room for both of you in their lives. Don't compete. She's not your competition. Your kids don't have a finite amount of love to distribute. Them loving her doesn't mean they love you less. Fighting for favorite status hurts your children and exhausts you. Model the behavior you want to see. If you want respect, give respect. If you want boundaries honored, honor hers. If you want grace, extend grace. You set the tone for this relationship. And finally, give it time. These relationships evolve. The woman who felt threatening in year 1 might become an ally by year 3. Or not. But staying open to evolution while protecting your boundaries is the balance to strike. Amber's story, The Unexpected Friendship. Amber never expected to become actual friends with her ex's wife. When they first met, it was awkward and tense. They were polite but distant. Amber was determined to be civil for her kids, but friendship felt impossible. Then one day, her ex's wife texted her, "Hey, I know this is weird, but I'm really struggling with Emily's teenage attitude, and I don't know what I'm doing. You've been parenting her for 13 years. Any advice?" That vulnerability changed everything. Amber could have said, "That's between you and her dad." She could have enjoyed watching this woman struggle. But instead, she saw an opportunity to help her daughter by helping this woman be a better stepmother. They started talking more, sharing insights, comparing notes, supporting each other through the chaos of raising teenagers. They discovered they had more in common than just loving the same kids. They had similar values, similar parenting philosophies, similar struggles. One day, her ex's wife said to her, "I want you to know I'm not trying to replace you. I know I'm not their mom, but I do love them and I want to do right by them." Amber told us that honesty opened her heart. This woman wasn't a threat. She was a gift. Another person loving her children. Another safe adult in their lives. Another support system. Now they text regularly, they coordinate not just logistics, but emotional support for the kids. They've gone to kids' events together and sat side by side. They've even grabbed lunch a few times without the kids or the ex. Amber's children have told her how lucky they feel to have 3 parents who all get along and work together. They don't feel torn. They don't feel like they have to hide parts of their lives. They feel supported and loved by everyone. Amber told us this isn't the story she expected to live, but it's become one of the most healing parts of her post-divorce life. She found an unexpected ally, and her children found a stable, loving, blended family. It won't work out this way for everyone, but it's possible. And it starts with one person deciding to be open to it. For the new partners watching this, here's what we want you to know. We see you trying to navigate an impossible situation. We know you didn't ask to be a step-parent. We know you're doing your best with no manual and a lot of judgment. But please hear this. The mother of these children is not your competition. She's not your enemy. She's someone who loves these kids as much as you're coming to love them too. And there's room for all of you. Respect her role. Don't try to replace her. Don't undermine her. Don't compete for the kids' affection. Just love them well and trust that children have an infinite capacity to love multiple adults. Reach out with humility. Acknowledge the awkwardness. Set boundaries together. Prioritize the kids over your ego or your insecurities. And know this, if you can build a respectful, functional relationship with their mother, you will make those children's lives immeasurably better. That's the gift you have the power to give.
Here's the bottom line. Your ex's new partner is going to be in your life in some capacity as long as you're co-parenting. You get to choose what that looks like. You can choose bitterness and competition and making everyone miserable. Or you can choose boundaries and grace and peace. You can choose to see her as a threat or as a potential ally. You can choose to model jealousy and insecurity for your children, or you can model maturity and confidence. And no, it's not fair that you have to be the bigger person. It's not fair that you have to extend grace when you're the one who's hurt. It's not fair that managing your emotions is your responsibility when you didn't ask for this situation. But fairness doesn't matter as much as your children's well-being and your peace of mind and the energy you want to spend on this relationship. You deserve peace.
Your children deserve stability. And sometimes getting there means being uncomfortable in the short term so you can be free in the long term. So here's what I want to ask you today. What's your experience with your ex's new partner? Are you struggling with jealousy? Have you built something functional or even friendly? What boundaries have helped you? What advice would you give someone just starting this journey? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. And if you're the new partner, we want to hear from you too. Tell us your side. Help us understand your perspective. We're all in this together, trying to do right by the children we love. And that common ground is more powerful than anything that divides us. Next time, we're going to talk about rebuilding your identity after divorce and rediscovering who you are beyond being his wife. Because that journey is just as important as learning to co-parent well. Until then, be kind to yourself. You're navigating something incredibly difficult with grace and strength, and your children are watching you model what it looks like to choose peace over conflict. You've got this.